What's everybody up? Rock Chalk, Jayhawk, KU. We're going today with the top 5 players in Kansas Jayhawk football program history. This is a program that is on the rise as of 2025. Honestly, in my opinion, as of 2023, 2022, around the time Lance Leipold got there. They've continued to improve, even if the record doesn't show it. I think fans would mostly agree as a program. They do have a good history, and not a lot of people acknowledge Kansas has had their bright moments. I'm not just talking 2007 when they played Missouri in the border showdown, but before that too, they've had their spots and their legends. So we're going to talk about their top 5 legends today in program history and go through it. Let me know what you think in the comments as we're going through here. Like the episode if you like it. And subscribe to the channel for sure. And I'll be creating more of these. I want more fan perspectives for these than I do like media and such, which is why you'll see me either. I typically have myself doing it or a guest. We've had Jerry on. Shout out Jerry Quickle for KU before. I think at the time it was midway, 3/4 of the way through the season in 2024. And we talked mostly about how Leipold was a better coach than Mike Norvell with Florida State. And the program as a whole was in a better place. And I still hold true to that. So good stuff. But if you want to just comment, what you think about your top 5, etc. The way that I did this, guys, I did some research as well, but mostly I went off of you all. I'm not the KU expert. I'm actually, Syracuse is my team. As many of you know from following my stuff, follow me on X, by the way, too. You'll see my stuff there a lot. I have a lot of fun on Twitter, so engage with me there too. But this was from Facebook, Kansas Facebook groups, Jayhawk fans. I asked, as I did many teams, who they thought the top player, singular, in program history was for Kansas. Not only did they give a top 10 or 15, they gave several names, which was awesome. Thank you guys so much. You guys are the experts. I'm not. I'm just regurgitating what was said and giving my thoughts on it and some of the stats and kind of putting it all together for us in an audio visual format. But also the amount of comments, you crushed it, KU. No joke. Out of the 20 schools that I did this for, Colorado, Missouri, App State, ECU, Nebraska. I'm not kidding you. You were the top 74 comment replies. There was one with 73. I think it might have been happenstance. No, it wasn't Missouri. Hang on. I got the stats right here. App State, actually, which who cares? People care about KU, Rock Chalk. So, we're going KU here, but thank you guys for the engagement and stuff. It made it easy. Again, this is not really my list. This is your list. I put them, what I did do is I put them in an order of what I thought they were 1 through 5. But mind you, these 5 were the most mentioned folks on that list. And I shouldn't even say my 5 because even the order, I went off of how frequently they were mentioned, right? Number 5, I'll just reveal is Devin Neal, and I'll go down from there, running back. But Devin was only mentioned a few. He was mentioned 3 or 4 times. I'm not going to give the amount of times in this episode typically that a guy was mentioned, but Devin was mentioned less than number 1, obviously, but he was still mentioned, if that makes sense. Devin Neal from 2021 to 2024 was at Kansas. I didn't know this until recently. I think Devin was on 3 or something doing an interview, but he stayed loyal and is a hometowner from KU, or I think he's hometown. I should have researched that before. Sorry, guys. I'm looking up on 3 right now, but he stayed committed, I know, when the program was basically in peril. I think at the time, as I recall the episode and what I heard, Les Miles was in seat at KU and then got let go. I think that was the off season that he got let go, and he stayed committed to KU. 310th running back nationally in the class of 2021. That was absolutely the time frame, but he was the top prospect running back out of the state of Kansas, which, as you guys know, is pretty premier. Not only do you have a strong JUCO programs in the state of Kansas, but high school football is elite as well. So decides to stay home at KU, so immediately gets respect there and had a freaking monster career. I had it pulled up. Sorry, guys. Over 4,000 yards rushing, 4,343 yards in his career. Mind you, like Neil, I remember watching him freshman year in some games thinking like he wasn't the premier necessarily, but he was getting a lot of time. And you were like, this is the guy. This is the next guy. And he became the guy, the next guy quickly. He had 707 yards his freshman year. To go with 8 touchdowns in his career overall, like I mentioned, 4,343 yards, 49 touchdowns on the ground, another 711 yards receiving in his career, and 4 touchdowns. Got drafted in the 6th round this year, I believe, by the Saints. I could be off on that, but we'll see, man. I hope he has a great NFL career. And honestly, with the amount of running backs you guys know that were in this year's class, to be drafted is, regardless of round, super impressive. Because you had competition, caps lock. Amari and Miller, Ashton Genty are top of the class, but then you had guys like Rocket Sanders, who was previous top dog in the SEC. You had Quinshon Judkins, Travian Henderson. Gosh, I could go on and on with these names. Kyle Monunga is another guy at Rutgers. I don't think he got drafted. LaQuint Allen at Syracuse. Like Neil, despite a great college career, like it is what it is. There's just a lot of competition in these NFL. I'll just say it, like these NFL agents and scouts and stuff, I don't think they do a great job of assessing what they should be assessing. And if you're assessing what you should be assessing, Neil should have been higher than a 6th round pick, but nonetheless, he got drafted. Rock chalk. Hope he shows out in the league for you all. Number 4, Todd Reesing. Everybody remembers Todd nationally from the 2007 stellar year that he had and KU had as a whole, all the way up to that border game against that rivalry against Missouri. And you guys did not pull it out, barely, but still a great season, a great career for Reesing. Over 3,000 yards in his final 3 seasons, each starting quarterback. 11,000 yards plus in his career total. Had 90 touchdowns to 33 interceptions. So that's a 3-to-1 touchdown to INT ratio. That's very, very impressive. A completion percentage of 63.8%. So wasn't really thought highly of. And I saw he didn't even make it into the NFL. I was clicking through some of his stats. It looks like he spent time in the CFL. But never ended up in the NFL, and he was part of the Big 12 when it was the Big 12. Like this guy, he wasn't Devin Neal, right? He wasn't playing like Cincy and UCF and stuff the final few seasons. He was playing Texas, Oklahoma, Mizzou, like A&M, going through the freaking gauntlet, Nebraska. So good to see. He went to a premier high school in the state of Texas, Lake Travis, and he was another guy. Like I was talking to Maggie Johnson, a Missouri fan and alum, and she does her podcast, and she gave respect to Reesing for you guys and put him in the same vein, obviously, and comparing him and Chase Daniel for her, right? And Chase was another 3-star that overlooked and stuff, and I think Chase was also out of the state of Texas, which is loaded with talent. But anyways, Reesing comes in at 4 for me, so let me know what you think in the comments about those two. Devin Neal at 5, Reesing at 4. Now we really get into it, and this is where you guys really, as a group, collectively separated. These 3 were pretty defined and names that were prominent if you scroll through the comments, like just repeated over and over and over again in that thread. John Riggins, number 3, former running back from the late 60s, early 70s, played at KU 1968 through 1970. His final season is when he really took off, had 1,131 yards and 12 touchdowns, 2 more as a receiver. 1970, again, was that year. He led the Big 8 in rush attempts, led him in rushing, yards from scrimmage, led the Big 8. I mean, he led the Big 8 in pretty much every category you can name. Yeah, I mean, Riggins was a dog. Let us know. And he did have a long NFL career. Let us know what you think in the chat. I remember Riggins. I don't know about you guys. I remember him mostly from from at that time the Washington Redskins. He did play, though, his first 5 seasons with the New York Jets, and that's where he was drafted. But good stuff on John Riggins. Had a long NFL career, 14 years as a running back in the NFL. And mind you, like, he was getting carries. This guy had 2,900 carries in his NFL career, two seasons with over 300 carries, which was that's kind of funny. It was his 2 seasons before his final one in 1985. So inevitably that probably broken down combined with his age. But they got the most out of him, man. It's not today where you see like 3 backs going, So he was the guy. Had 11,352 yards rushing in his NFL career to go with 104 touchdowns and another 12 receiving. So not only was he a legend at KU, but also had a fantastic NFL career. All right, let's move it on. Number 2, and this was pretty common name, obviously. It's number 2, Nolan Cromwell, quarterback. Second round of the NFL draft. At that time, he was the 31st pick. It was the 1977 NFL draft by the LA Rams. We'll get into his KU stats, but I think that was interesting and stuck out to me because 31st today, I think there's 32 picks, right? First round, maybe 31, but he would have been our first round pick, just numerically. So good stuff. But Nolan played 2 seasons at KU. His best season was 1975, 1,124 yards. Rushing. It says rushing. I don't understand why his sorry guys, but his passing stats are not up here. Let me click passing. There we go. It's got his passing below his rushing. But anyways, had a really good season. Nolan did for KU. The biggest thing that stuck out to it seemed in the thread, and I obviously researched this and found out about it, but he was a 2-sport athlete and a stud in track. So funny enough, and I meant to play this. I'm sorry, guys, as we were going. But I play as I'm going on with these videos. I like to play highlights. So I found this is shout out to Devin Neal. I couldn't find. Trying to fix the sound here. I couldn't find less recent. Like I really wanted to find Cromwell. I looked for number 1, who you'll find out I look for. I couldn't find stuff long enough, like B-roll, if you want to call it, or footage. So I just went with Devin Neal. But anyways, Cromwell. It's funny. The first thing that popped up was track. Nolan Cromwell track. I was like, KU knows their stuff. They weren't kidding. This guy was elite in track and football. Like one person, I forget the name, but they commented and said he would literally go like right from KU, like stuff, like getting an interception to like running track. It's just crazy. So good stuff. By the way, my handle here, shout out, is in KU colors. So I always do that kind of tribute to the podcast. Number 1 on this list that you guys brought forward, Gale Sayers. I think you probably knew that when I was at 5 that he was going to be 1, right? I think that's unquestionable. Honestly, as like a non-KU person, immediately when Devin Neal was mentioned, yes, I agree, Devin Neal. And there's some other ones I'll mention too that were honorable mention after this. But I thought of Todd Reesing, and then I didn't realize, honestly, like Sayers had went to KU. I remember he went to the Bears, but again, like KU's not my team. That's why I don't sit here and pretend to know everything. I'm a fan like you all are, So I like to just kind of go off cup. I don't want to be like everybody else and get into details, etc. I'm a fan, and I just like to bring it forward. So video quality sucks, man. Maybe if I had moved out a little, sorry guys. But anyways, Gale Sayers at KU, 3 seasons, 1962 to 1964, 2,675 yards, 18 touchdowns on the ground in his career. So definitely had a good season. Played for the Bears in the NFL. Played 7 seasons in the NFL. As I recall, he had a serious leg injury, I think, that ended it. But his best season with the Bears was 1969, 236 carries for 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 39 touchdowns in his NFL career, ran for almost 5,000 yards. So I think they called him the Kansas Tornado, right? So pretty cool. But those are my 5 based on you guys. So thank you. It's cool to reminisce and just go down memory lane with each of these teams. And KU had a really neat 5. And also, it's clear you guys were the most passionate about your team and boisterous about your team. So shout out KU, Rock Chalk. And let me know what you think in the comments about this. Am I right? Am I wrong? Is there anybody you would have left off on? Like the episode. And by the way, do you have a quick honorable mention? Aqib Talib, who honestly I would have put it probably 5, maybe 4 over Reesing even. He was a little more recent than the other ones, Tyler Self and John Haddle, who I heard. But Aqib, I think it's just like, and somebody said it in the thread, this is really an age question. It kind of is, right? If you're not educated on like KU, like if I'm 38. If I was like 25, I'd be like, oh yeah, Devin Neal's the number 1, right? He's on screen. No doubt. He had a great career. Aqib was not, if you were 25, you were probably 5 when Aqib Talib was at KU, maybe even younger than that, right? A. B, he played defense. So he's not going to have the same eye-popping stats like a running back who gets the ball every second or third play is going to have, like a Devin Neal would have, like a Todd Reesing would have, getting the ball every play, like a John Riggins would have, or a quarterback or running back, right? That's your whole top 5. So I really appreciated the Aqib shout out specifically. The other 2, I'll just be honest, I didn't take time to research because they were honorable mention. But Aqib, I do remember, and then he had a good career in the NFL with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I remember him and Darrelle Revis being in the NFL around the same time as like 1A defensive back. So Aqib definitely got it done. But thank you all for hopping on, and everybody have a night good.